everyone. So we were talking about The Undead Truth of Us by Brittany Lewis. This book I picked up in September of 2022 at the book festival in Winston-Salem. And I just loved the cover. And it wasn't until I actually pulled it off the shelf to read it that I was like, wait a minute. Which is why we're in front of my Van Gogh posters instead of my book room. This book, so the main character is Zharie, or Z. And it's kind of cool, like the parallels. So this is, I'll just start off by saying this is a YA book. It is also a very deep, soulful, poetic, thought-provoking book. It is not a lighthearted escape from reality. If you are looking for that, you want Legends and Lattes. But if you want to be in your feelings and, you know, kind of think about life and death and all of those things, then this is the book for you. So this happens pretty early on in the book, so I don't feel like it's really spoilery. First of all, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because I read this book in like 2 or 3 days. It's 300 and some pages. But also, it was just, it was because many of you know, like you watch my channel, you know that my mom passed from COVID. My brother took his own life. And so I deal with grief on a regular basis. So I'll be honest that when I first picked this book up, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready to do this. But I'm glad I did because you kind of go on this journey with Zharie. So I'll tell you, so what happens is her mother passes away. And when her mother passes away, she starts to see zombies everywhere. Well, really before that, because she saw her mother as a zombie. And really it's her brain's way of making sense of, because things aren't making sense. And it's her brain's way of making sense of things, right? And it just speaks to how when we go through something so emotionally traumatic, that we can literally become irrational. But I loved the cover. Like I said, I'm a cover lover, and I also love Van Gogh. And Van Gogh is a theme throughout the book. The main character talks about Van Gogh a lot, and it just, I don't know, like it just, I really enjoyed this book. Like I said, I read it in 2 or 3 days. So Zharie, I told you her mom passes away, right? She starts to see zombies everywhere. She has to leave her home, right? The home that she was in with her mom. She has to move to a different part of the city. She's living with her aunt who acts like she doesn't even want her there. So there's a lot going on for this poor kid, right? To have to deal with. And she starts to see, it's not everybody, but she does see some people as zombies. And, she's moving in, to her aunt's apartment. Her aunt is a CNA, working in a nursing home, working her way through school. So she's not really there a lot. When she is there, there's kind of this tension because Zharie feels like she doesn't want her there. And she even tells her at some point that she doesn't want her there. And so there's just a lot for this kid to deal with. There's this guy moving in. His name is Bo. He has a few names. And she sees him as part of a zombie, like half of his face is a zombie. Anyway, she's a very fearful, anxious person, and she is scared to kind of step out of her comfort zone and confront people, go do things. Like, she's just very anxious, very scared, very fearful, right? Bo and his friends kind of pull her out of herself and make her do things. And then she, you know, all of a sudden has this sense of feeling alive and feeling exhilarated. And she just kind of, it's basically, this book is just this girl going on this journey to kind of find herself, to come out of her grief, to come out of her shell, to kind of come into her own, to confront some issues that have been going on for a long time, but she's just been too much in her grief to say anything. You know, when that happens, you're just kind of, you are like a zombie. So it's just, that's why I say it's very poetic, because in the end, like, Zharie becomes a zombie herself, and she has to work through all these things. And it's kind of a metaphor, like when you're going through grief, right, you really do kind of become a zombie. Like, you're just kind of going through the motions. You're just kind of doing what you have to do to get through the day and to survive, but you feel like you're dead inside, right? So I thought it was a great book. I thought the rating was amazing. Like I said, I give it a 4 out of 5. But it is definitely one of those that you have to be ready to be in your feelings to read. So I would absolutely recommend it if that's what you're looking for. But yeah, it was a good read. Well done, Brittany, because this writing was, It was just really beautiful. Like, if you like V.E. Schwab and Addie LaRue, you would love the writing in this book. Just very poetic. I loved it. Thanks, guys.